Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Thunder Today YouTube channel. I am your host, Dylan Hibbard, and in today's video, we're going to go over some more of disrespect from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander by ESPN. Even though Shai has done everything he could and just had one of the best seasons ever, he's just not getting recognition by ESPN. We'll dive into that. We'll also go over some keys to the Thunder repeating and trying to avoid what the last, every team in the 2020s has been able not to do and to go back to back. We will also go over the best draft pick of all time. We'll get into that topic, talk about who that might be. And then towards the end, we will talk about a possible another trade acquisition the Thunder can make throughout next season. But first off, talking about the Shai disrespect by ESPN. Like we talked about yesterday, the Sixth Man of the Year award predictions came out, and Alex Caruso was predicted as the favorite and received the most votes to be the Sixth Man of the Year. And the MVP ones came out, and Shai is number 3 on the list. And they believe that Jokic will win MVP, and they have Luka Doncic second and Shai third. And I can understand the wanting to put Luka up there because of his off-season transformation and the fact that he hasn't won that MVP yet, and now with the full season in LA, he could without a doubt do that. But for me, I just feel like as an MVP who just won the title, Finals MVP, championship, all of that, you kind of have to give Shai the respect and give him at least odds to at least be in the top 2, because normally it's not a 3-person race for the MVP. Normally around that All-Star break and beyond, you kind of get it to where you know it's between 2 guys, especially like last year. Around the All-Star break, we knew it was Shai or Jokic, but we really didn't know until certain points throughout the season where Shai was just continuously dropping 30 and just the Thunder were continuing to build that lead in first place. So to not even have Shai in your top 2 and say that he's just not even going to be in the conversation, for MVP again is kind of wild. And it just kind of shows that the experts just will continue to go towards the fact that they think he's just a free throw merchant, that he doesn't actually know how to score and his ability to score, and they just think that he's getting the foul calls and that's why he was able to win MVP. But as we know, that's the total opposite. He leads the league in drives. He is averaging over 30 for 3 straight seasons now, and he just had one of the best seasons of all time. So just to see this from ESPN saying that he was 14 votes behind Luka for second and 66 votes behind Jokic for the favorite for MVP is just kind of wild. So it's going to be interesting to see how Shai responds to that, and if the league and experts who vote on this will have that voters fatigue and be like, well, we gave him his MVP, we're kind of over it now. We want to look to somebody like a Luka, an Ant, somebody like that. So you guys will have to let me know down below what you guys think of those comments and predictions about Shai finishing in the MVP. But we'll now transition into the keys for the Thunder to repeat this next season. As we know, there hasn't been a back-to-back champion since 17-18 Warriors, and there's been we're trying to figure out why there hasn't been a back-to-back champion. There's so much parity in the league. You look at Toronto winning in 2019. They had Kawhi, then Kawhi left. 2020, you had the bubble with the Lakers, and then LeBron gets hurt in 21. You have the Bucks go out there and win in 21, and a lot of people thought, okay, the Bucks are going to be the team that start the dynasty of the 20s. And then you can't get Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton healthy, and then they fall off. And then 22, you go have the Warriors win another one. And then in 23, you have the Nuggets, and then a lot of people thought, okay, you have Jokic, the best player in the league, Murray, all this, and they had the pieces to build around it, and then it doesn't work out. And then you have the Celtics win it last year, and now you get Tatum hurt, and now you have the Thunder winning in 2025. And the keys for, I think, the kind of thing that stands out that's different from all these other teams from the past 5-6 years compared to the Thunder is their youth and their ability to continue to draft guys and be able to recycle guys. These other guys on these teams like the Bucks, Nuggets, Warriors, Celtics, all these guys, they were already in their 30s, their prime. Most of their team were older veterans that have been around in the league so much. And now you have the Thunder, who their best player is just now entering his prime at 26, 27 years old. your second best player is 23. You have Chet, who's 22, who's really just kind of forming into his own. And your oldest player on the team who gets high quality minutes is Caruso, and he's only 31 years old. So for the Thunder, I think it's the big thing of not falling into the championship hangover. You hear it so much in sports about how a team will go and win the championship, and now that they finally got that championship as a group, they're like, all right, we don't need to try as hard. We can just cruise into the playoffs, and then once it comes playoff time, we can turn on that switch and hopefully get back to it. But as we've learned, especially in the NBA, and I mean, even if you look at other sports, not the NFL, because the NFL is the league that will have repeat champions, but you look at baseball, there's not a lot of repeat champions there. There hasn't been one since the turn of the century. So for teams, the championship hangover is real, and for the Thunder, it's going to be knowing that the West is somehow even more stacked this upcoming year, and now you have that chip on your back that you're going to get the best out of every single team every single night because you have that championship. You're the defending champs, and now people are going to want to go out there and prove that they can beat the defending champs and prove that they can beat the best of the best out there. So for the Thunder, it's really stay healthy and stay focused and act like this is a new season. Nothing that we did last year matters, and you want to go out there with the same mindset of let's go win this championship and make it pretty much impossible for anyone to stop us if we are playing at our best on the defensive side, and then our defense transitions into high-pace, high-efficiency offense. And we'll kind of transition out of that topic talking about what is the best OKC draft pick in history. And you kind of look, we're not going to, obviously Shea was not a draft pick, so Shea's not a part of this because most people would want to go to there. And it's really between your big three of KD, Russ, and Harden, and most likely Chet and J-Dub. And you have to look at best draft pick also has to do with where they were drafted. If you were drafted higher up and you still did perform well, that's obviously, we expect you to do that. That's why we drafted you so high. So guys like KD and Chet who were drafted too, yes, we know they're going to turn out great. KD was a great for us for a long time, and Chet is going to turn into that, fingers crossed. But you're the second pick, so we kind of had that high expectation for you. You have Harden, who was the third pick. You have Russ, who was the 9th pick overall, and then you have J-Dub, who was borderline lottery pick at the 12th overall pick. So for me, just kind of looking at the best draft pick of all time, if you take into account where they were drafted based on their expectance on how high they were drafted compared to what they did with the Thunder so far, I think it comes down between Westbrook and J-Dub. I think getting Westbrook at 9, turning him into the most favorite Thunder player of all time and just being a icon for the Thunder for so many years. And then you had J-Dub, who you were able to get after Chet, and so many people were focused on in that draft that we got Chet, and they were so focused on that J-Dub was able to go under the radar, go late in the lottery, and really he's now turned into a guy who dropped 40 in Game 5 of the NBA Finals in a series that was 2-2, and if you lose that game at home, you're going down 3-2 back on the road. So it really comes down to those two. You could say J-Dub because he was able to help you bring the championship, or maybe it's your favorite bias and your favorite player in Westbrook that makes you think that he was the best player, able to bring an MVP to the Thunder, get so close to the NBA Finals, just not able to do it, but have one of the greatest seasons of all time in 2017 and stay as long as he could have before he ultimately decided for the team it was better for him to leave and let the Thunder recoup and rebuild. And for me, out of those two, I would slightly lean Westbrook. I think he's just done so much more for the Thunder in his time. I think if the Thunder go off and win another 2 or 3 championships and J-Dub is right there with Shea and he's the number 2 option, you can definitely look back and be like, oh yeah, J-Dub, getting him in the late lottery, turning into a multiple-time champion, maybe get a few All-NBA nods at that, I think could really persuade some people. But at this very moment, I still think the Thunder's ability to get him at number 9 in the draft, I think, is still without a doubt Sam Presti's best draft pick up to this date. And then we'll kind of end this video talking about another possible trade acquisition that I would want the Thunder to kind of look at throughout this upcoming season, depending on how certain players do. And the player I'm talking about is Onyeka Okongwu from the Atlanta Hawks. He's another big defensive-oriented guy who can really play some good interior defense and have another big body in there for when you run into guys like the Nuggets, where now not only do they have Jokic, they have Jonas Valanciunas to back up. So you're going to need big bodies down there to go out there when you don't have Chet and Hartenstein all the time out there. And if early on you see a guy like Topic, Sorber, those younger guys off the bench struggling, and maybe the Hawks are looking for some more depth out there, you could go trade a few of these guys and a couple of picks and go get Okongwu, who you know can make an instant impact off the bench for the Thunder and really just provide great defense, great size on the interior, because we want to see that from Thomas Sorber, but we don't know how he's going to react with this injury. Maybe we not even see him all season, or maybe we're able to see him early on, but maybe something happens throughout the season where we want to do that. So it also depends on if the Hawks are looking to trade, because now the East is so weak. Maybe the Hawks are not looking to trade a guy like that. Maybe they're looking for different pieces. But Onyeka Okongwu is definitely somebody I kind of want to see the Thunder kind of look at, just in case, depending on how the season's going. If you're struggling rebounding or size in that advantage, I think he's one of those guys that you could definitely look to. But that'll be it for me today, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you hit the like button down below and hit the subscribe button. Helps the channel out a lot. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.